Alright guys, what's going on? It's finally time to do the fixed back bucket seats in the 8.6 with the harnesses. It's been a long time coming. I've had the seats for ages, but I was waiting for the harnesses to come because I wanted them in this specific color. These spicy, we got a free t-shirt, nice. Spicy pink, 4-inch. Then we got the genuine replica fried low max seats, full eBay specials. But yeah, now, so I was waiting because my hand was screwed, then I had to have surgery, but now we're finally back in action, ready to go. We have a drift event on tomorrow. It's already like 1 o'clock, so I have to get 2 seats done, got to get 2 harnesses done. So we're just going to get into it. Alright, so I'm just going to start off by taking out I'm going to start with the right hand side. I've already taken the seat out for the left, and I've also mocked up the rails and stuff just because I was just playing around one night. So it's all out. Luckily I don't have carpet in here, makes it all a lot easier. One thing I will say, the factory bolts for the seats are absolutely terrible. I don't know if this is going to come up on camera, but they're like a little weird hex thing. You can't really grab onto them. I did try and see if I could buy bolts to replace them, but they've got like a weird taper at the end, and it was like a 10 mil, but the 10 mil didn't fit and the 8 mil is too small. So we're just gonna have to make do with these, and yeah, they're terrible. But if anyone else has found a way to replace those, let me know in the comments, because they suck and I definitely don't want to use them if I don't have to. We got Flash here helping us out. He wants to get in the car. All right, let's get into it. Also, let's appreciate this table I made. Definitely not a chippy, so don't look at it too close, but it's got wheels, sweet bench top, definitely over the top for a workbench. Definitely spent more money on that than I should have because this is going to get wrecked, but I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so all you got to do, just take out these 2 bolts at the front, and then there's 2 at the back. Pretty simple job. I'm pretty sure these are a little bit threaded from the last time that I took the seats out. So it could be a bit of a fiddly job, but we'll get this out and then we'll be able to start looking at doing all the rails and making up the seat, and then we can look at doing the harness. I just thought I'd add this in here because it's a very helpful tip that I learn at work and I use it all the time. But if you're ever trying to undo a bolt and you can't get the proper leverage from the tool you're using, you just get that, find yourself a pole, whatever you can get to slip it over the edge, put it on there, and then and crank it, and it'll just give you way more leverage to do, and it works for everything. And because these are an 8 mil, I couldn't use like a 1/2 inch socket, so I had to use the smallest one I had. So that's why I couldn't get much leverage on it, and I ended up having to use that pole. But it worked, no dramas, and it was easy to do. So just a little one of the tips of the trades. Yeah. Alright, so I got the seat out. I didn't have to do it because obviously the person who ripped out all the carpet and stuff before I got this car did it, but you will have to unplug, I think it's like the seat belt and like that, I don't know, that ABS or whatever it is, whatever's connected, the airbags, sorry. You've got to unplug the airbags, and also whatever thing goes to the seat belt that makes it beep. So yeah, actually it was really easy. I thought those bolts were going to give me a little bit more of a hard time, but that was actually quite easy. So now we can start mocking up the rails for the seats, and then we can start testing it and get it all in. All right, so we're all ready to start mocking up the fixed back bucket seat. So we've got the side rails, we've got the specially made mount for the 8.6 Toyota GT86 right. These are from Crankworks, which is just the eBay store that I bought the seats from. Oh yeah, so I went with a carbon fiber for the driver's seat, and then for the passenger seat I went with the fiberglass. The carbon fiber was a little bit more expensive, nothing too crazy, but I actually did notice that the fiberglass seat was actually a little bit wider, so I thought for passengers and different people that are going to be getting in the car, that'll be better. And then the carbon fiber one I found was a little bit tighter and a better fit for me, and obviously I'm the only one that's going to be driving it, so that's why I went with that. And so we're going to be doing the mount with the side rails, and then I'm also going to be doing sliders. Not a lot of people, well, not many people I know run sliders when they're running their driver's seat with the fixed back, just because you're the only person that's going to be in it. You got it set where it's going to go, and then that's it. But I sit crazy close to the steering wheel when I drive, when I'm drifting. In my VE, I sit as far as forward as you can go on the sliders. So I like to be as far forward as I can when I'm driving, and then when I get out of the car, I slide it back, and then I jump out. So that's why I'm going to be doing that. One thing I've been able to work out with the way that these rails work, apparently, or from what I know, you want the holes at the back, and then you want this, the slotted parts at the front. And that allows you to have it set at the back, and then you can pivot it on the front. Because I like to be running the seat with a little bit of uphill, so that you're like really tucked in. So actually when I bought the seats, they had the rails on them, but they were the other way around, and obviously I just had to change them. So I'm going to put them on now, mock it all up, and then see what the height's like. I think I've also bought some spacers because I think they might actually be a little bit too low. Reasonably loose for now, and then that way I can change it and move it around. So it's not going to be perfect the first time around. Alright, so I'm just going to set the seat up here on this toolbox. And then that way I can just sit in it and just see what it's like, see how I like the feel of it. So I probably think it needs to be back a little bit more so that my legs are up more of an angle. So I'm gonna raise it one more. Alright, so that's pretty good the way it's set up. If anything, it is a little bit too laid back, but I won't really know till I get it in the car, and then that's a pretty easy fix. I can do that on the track, I can do that anywhere. It's only it's only 2 bolts. So then now we can start getting the sliders hooked up, and then we can put the base on. So I just thought I'd show you this quickly before I put it together, but this is how these rails are supposed to be mocked up. So the flat part goes to the bottom of the seat, is facing up, and also this is obviously the handle for the thing. It didn't come with a screw for here, it wasn't supplied, so I just had to go and buy some nylon. I don't even know what size they are, M5s. So let's get it together. Alright, we'll start throwing the seat rails on. So where you put these is going to be up to you. I checked in the car a few times, pulled them in, pulled them out, and then I kind of just worked out where I wanted it to be. I still don't even know if it's going to be right. I'm just going to put this together and then see how it comes up. We'll do this last because it's going to be in the way, I think. Alright, we're going to fit up the rail, the bottom mount. The kit didn't come with barely any hardware, so luckily I have heaps of all my own nuts and bolts. Stick it at the front. Alright, we've got the rails up with the sliders all mocked up. It was super fiddly. A lot of things didn't really fit here. Putting things on, taking them off, doing it twice. So hopefully I can do it right at the end so that you guys don't have to do it. But this is the way it's set up. Rail, slider, and then we've got the mount. So I'm just going to chuck it in the car and see how it looks. I can already tell that the seat's way too far to the left, but we're just... It's actually not too bad. There is a little bit of movement in the bolts. It is way too close actually. Doesn't feel too bad with the steering wheel, but it's hitting here. So as you can see, the steering wheel, I mean, it's not too bad, but I'm hitting here. So I might just try and move the rails over a little bit, and we'll see what that's like. Let's go. So one thing I'm having trouble with, when you actually tighten the base to the rails, then once it's tight, the slider doesn't work. So the only way it works is if they're loose, and if they're loose, they're just going to come loose eventually. So no good fucking. I'll probably just leave them on and run them for tomorrow, but then when I get my quick release steering wheel set up, then I'll take the sliders off, because otherwise it's just too hard to get in and out of the car. But I'm just gonna have to run them a little bit loose for tomorrow. But yeah, they barely move. Shit design. Alright, now that the seat is pretty much done, we can start looking at doing the harness, because obviously a lot of this stuff has to go in before the seat. So we've got the Zoo Performance pink 4-inch harness, two shoulder straps. Then we've got this piece is what comes up from underneath the seat through the hole, which will be coming up through here. And then you've got these two pieces that come up from the side. So let's get cracking on that. Alright, so I had a feeling that this was going to be the case, and so it's pretty good. One of the side braces that we're going to be able to use, the bolt is the same size as the bolt in the seat belt that the old seat belt holds onto, so we're going to get rid of that. And then that will go in there. So that'll be done for that. And then the two main ones coming over your shoulder, I'm going to be wrapping around the harness bar of that cage. So all we're going to have to do now is drill a hole and make up a bracket for one here, which is, you know, it is what it is. So let's get into it. Alright, so we've got one in the existing seatbelt bolt. Now we've got to make one up for here. So this will be there for your side mount. So I've gone ahead, taken off the undercover underbody protection, which is just plastic, it's useless. Then we can start looking at where we're going to be able to drill a hole. Let's go. We're working overtime out here. You know I had to get that Guzmani Gomez Uber Eats. Right, so we've drilled the hole where I want it to go. I measured pretty much the same distance off this wall here, and then the same distance up, so that would be similar, or the same. But the only problem I'm having these eyelets that they come with in the kit, well, they don't come with a bolt. And then I went to try and get a bolt from Bunnings, and they're a 7/16. Apparently a 7/16 is the only bolt the Bunnings don't have. So, yeah, and it's a Saturday and it's too late to buy one from a bolt shop. So I just went and had to go buy different eyelets. And then that way I could buy the bolts to match. And then I bought these spacers, or these are going to be the backing plates that are going to be on the bottom of the car that are going to stop the eyelet from going flying if you're in a crash. So I'll show you that once it's all installed. And I also went and bought silicone, which I'm going to put between the plate and the bolt, so that when you're drifting in the rain, you're not getting water coming up and rusting out the car. Alright, so I got that piece in. I couldn't hold both sides, the top and bottom, so I just stuck the drill under here, and then I was able to just use that to hold the bolt. I will show you what it looks like on the other side. So you've got the base plate to kind of make sure it doesn't rip through, and then I've got a washer, nuts and bolts, and then I put a bit of silicone in there as well. So now I just got to do one in the center for this. So I'll be putting one for both of these, and then I'll have to do the other side, and it's all good. So I've just chucked the seat back in, just ready to start mounting up the bolts for this one. So I've just chucked it in, got it roughly like where I want to be sitting. And then I'm going to, there's two of them, but I'm just going to put one eyelet here, and then I'm going to clip the two eyelets to it. And then hopefully that should be all good. Starting to take shape. It's been a bit of a fiddly job and pretty annoying having to go to Bunnings like 4 times trying to get just the stuff that I was missing. But yeah, once we get this done, should be all good. So making some decent progress. I've got the bottom clamp mounted in the back here, mounted to that eyelet. I've got that one at the back there. Got this one done. Now I've just jumped in the seat and put it all on and set myself up where I want to go before I start to tie this in at the back to the roll cage, just because as I fiddle with it, it's going to start moving. So I've got it exactly where I want it to go, and I've cable tied it to the seat, so that way when I jump in the back and start setting it all up, I can't pull on it and then it's all out of whack. So now it should be perfect once I tie it on. Alright, so it's finally time to wrap this to the cage. This has probably been the most important part that I want to do properly. A lot of people with these, they just screw into here with the eyelet and then they hook it on, but I think that looks crap, and they like rattle around, and wrapping it this way I think looks the best. And yeah, you just don't get that like rattle and you're also not drilling into your cage. So I'm going to attempt at doing this by, so you get your clip and you take it off, and then you've just left with this underneath and then down from the top. Then you're going to wrap it underneath the cage, then through the underneath of the first hook facing towards your seat. I don't think this description is going to be any good, but get it to where you want it. Try and take up all the slack that you can here. Then from there you take your end and go back down. Maybe you don't want to take too much slack. And feed it back down through the top. So it's a bit fiddly, and I still want to get it a bit tighter. So I'm going to try feed that through there, and then pull some more out up here. The most important thing that you want is that this is up on the top, facing either there or like back here. You just don't want it down so that it's not getting pressure put on it. But this can be a little bit fiddly to get perfectly tight, as I am figuring out. But you get the idea, and I'm just going to keep working at it. And that's pretty good. So you can either roll it up from here, and then, you know, like this, and then throw a cable tie on it. There is one more stage where you wrap it back through here out the back, but I don't think I can fit this in here. It's not enough room. So I think for now we're just going to roll it up. Like that. And then I'm gonna stick a cable tie through there. And then any extra slack there is there will get taken up once you put the harness on. Now I've just got to do it on the other side and we're all set to go. All right, there you have it. Race seat. I have to use the torch because it's dark in here, but there we go. That just looks so much cleaner and better than having, you know, eyelets hanging out of your roll cage and then also having the clips going onto them. So come up a tree. I should mention also, sorry, I'm cramped as in here. If let's say that you wanted to do the racing seats and the harness, but you don't have a roll cage, there is a bolt, a stock factory bolt here, or a, you know, whatever there, that you can screw the harness into. And there's another one over here. So, I mean, it would look crap and that would be all over the place. But if that's what you want to do, there's the option.